Hey guys, it's Randy here at etrailer.com. Today we've got out the Thule Helium Pro bike rack. This is a very nice ultra-light bike rack designed to hold 2 bikes. There's also a 3-bike option. We'll talk about that in just a minute. We're doing the test fit on our 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee. This is just to give you an idea if it's going to fit, how it's going to look while it's on your vehicle, and kind of some of the measurements you might need to be concerned with. Let's talk for a minute about the rack right now. A couple things I really like. Of course, the weight is huge. It's an all aluminum construction. Loading this thing up and taking it out of your vehicle is extremely easy, like a one-hand deal almost. Another thing I like are the cradle spacings here. These are set on 7-inch centers. That's going to be 2 inches, 1.5 inches, an inch wider than what we see out of most hanging style racks. Gives us more room between those bikes. So if we were to load a second bike on here, the handlebars are going to want to be somewhere in this area. That just minimizes the contact that we have between them. Now the bike itself is held in place using 3 straps. You can see we've got one here and one here, so we've got 2 for our top tube. And then there's the anti-sway cradle here. That's going to do a good job of keeping your bikes from moving back and forth, either going up and making contact with the rack or coming back and hitting the other bike. To release those, we've just got cam buckle style straps here. We're going to press in. That gives us the release. And then we can just work them out of there. That'll allow me to get the bike out of the way for you. You can take a better look at those cradles. They've got a really nice rubberized material down in there. It's going to help absorb a lot of the road shock, so our bikes aren't going to get a bunch of stress on them. But you can also see the couple nice grooves. We've got one here, and one here. So if you have shifter cables, if you have something like that, it's going to do a good job of giving them a little bit of room. Also our anti-sway cradle here. The strap's going to be rubberized. All the straps are rubberized as well. But also there's a little bit in there just to help absorb some of that stuff. Oh, something I forgot to mention. We do have an incorporated cable lock here. You can see that fits down in the mast. Once you've got your bikes loaded, you're going to turn the key, lock that. Just going to prevent the bikes from being removed from the rack. Now that same key also operates our anti-rattle knob located down there. Keeps our bike rack nice and smooth. So with just one key, we're able to lock the rack to the vehicle. We're also able to lock our bikes to the rack. Now while we've got the arms extended there, I want to give you a measurement. This is going to be from the back of the bumper to the furthest out portion of the rack. This is going to be pretty helpful when you go to park in a garage maybe and you want to leave your bikes loaded because you're going to use them again the next day, something like that. Basically in the position we've got it here, it's going to be about 32.25 inches. Now you remember I mentioned that 3-bike version. That extends this out by 9 inches, so that's going to put you in that 41-inch range. As far as collapsing these down, we've got a lever right here. It can save you a lot of space when you don't have your bikes loaded. Parking garages, parking lots, things like that. Or again, maybe parking in the garage without having to remove the rack. So in the 2-bike configuration here, we're looking at about 19.5 inches. In the 3-bike, that's going to be closer to 20.5. These arms come out just a little bit further. The closest point of the rack to our vehicle is going to be the anti-rattle knob here. It's like on your Grand Cherokee, it's about 3 inches away. We have the option of another lever here that allows us to tilt that rack down and away from our vehicle. In doing that, we're going to buy ourselves a lot more space to get items in and out. With that rack upright, very unlikely that hatch is going to open. So being able to tilt that out of the way, you can see plenty of room here. Even larger items shouldn't really be a big deal getting them in or out. Once that door goes down, to get our rack back ready to head down the road, just need to lift up on it. You hear that real nice positive click from our lever here. That indicates it's locked in place and we're ready to go. Remember we mentioned the anti-rattle knob? It's going to be right here. See, as I loosen that up, see that movement that we've got in our rack? We tighten that back down. I like to move the rack a little bit as I do. It's going to take all that out of there. Get rid of all that shake, get rid of all that play. And this is the pin that goes into the receiver tube opening. So not only is the rack really easy to use, it's easy to install. You're not even going to have to get out any tools. So overall, I've dealt with a lot of bike racks, done a lot of test fits, and this is one of my favorites. I like that it's lightweight, it's easy to get on and off the vehicle, like that rust and stuff like that isn't going to be an issue. This is definitely a bike rack that I would own. Now, I've got a couple kids, so I'm looking for more like the 4 bike racks. But if you and a buddy, you and a friend, you and your significant other need 2 or a 3 bike rack, I think this is going to be an excellent solution for you. Really lightweight and really aesthetically pleasing. Thule also does a great job on their testing. You can rest assured that this rack is going to hold up for an extended period of time. You're going to get tons of use out of it without any issues. Now, we do have some footage of this out on our test course, so take a look at that. It's going to give you a real good idea of what it's going to look like going down the road. You see any of the movement or any of the play that it might have. Here on our test course, we'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action. This simulates turning corners or evasively maneuvering. Once we get to the alternating speed bumps, we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving over uneven pavement.